video 2 or 3 on this Porsche for the air conditioning. So 1,350 grams, that's roughly what 47 ounces will come up to. And because this was R12 retrofitted to 134, you would not put that much back in, otherwise you'd be overcharged and you have high side pressure. And remember, you do not check any temperatures or pressures or do anything with this hood open, because this rear hood, this rear hatch, has your condenser and there's no fans there for cooling. So what happens to the head pressure? This is your fan. So this is where the remote Bluetooth gauges come in on. But because I told you from the prior videos, I've done this 3.5 years ago or so, and we know all the hoses are leaking on this and they're not going to do it. I'm just doing a charge, prove it works, and that's it. No readings, no nothing. If it comes out cold, that's all he wants. Remember, I'm up here because there's a sub condenser from the previous videos. I explained exactly how this subcooling condenser works, and the condenser fan on the subcooler is working. So even if you were one of the circle jerk guys who jerk off little cans and try to squirt them in there, and you try to gauge yourself on pressures on this car, you'd be in a world of hurt, because you'd be having this lid open trying to get pressures that you couldn't, because there'd be no airflow over this condenser. The proper airflow you would not have. On top of that, most guys do not know there's a second fan up here to a second subcooling condenser. So if it was a nice hot roasty toasty day and you're trying to get some subcooling on this with a broken fan and not knowing it's broken, that you even had it, all your readings and all your temperatures would be off, and they don't mean anything anyway. And if you were unlucky enough to have one of those cans of AC Pro and whack a load off in it with that, it would definitely not be giving you the proper pressures with that low side only gauge, not knowing that this has a subcooler on it with a fan that's broken on it, and not knowing that you cannot charge these things up properly and get gauge readings with this lid up, because there's no airflow over this condenser. This has a rated airflow to bring the rated amount of CFM air to flow through this condenser at a rated RPM. And I went out of a factory spec Porsche manual on video once before and showed you what that was. Not going to do it again. So let's fill this thing up. Okay, let's kill. See, I'm there, down. That needs to open. The vacuum needs to be turned off. I think that's open. No, let's turn that. Open on the high side, close the vacuum, we're at 0, and let's open. Boom. And we're going in. And this is one of those ones with a retrofit fitting. And actually, I think this one was a retrofit fitting over on top of the fitting, and they didn't remove the core properly like they should. So it barely gets any flow through it. It's really highly restricted because they didn't do the retrofit correctly on this one. With this kind of retrofit fitting, you're supposed to remove the core. On some other kind of retrofit fittings, you leave the core in there and then it has a depressor, but they actually have a core on top of a core, so I could barely move any refrigerant or vacuum through these fittings because the person who did this did it wrong, like often happens. RTFM, that's all I gotta say. So this is one of the slowest slow recharges you'll ever probably see me do on video. That it's taken a long ass time to get 1,300 or almost 300. I'll stop at 1,200 grams and then figure out after that. But right now we'll just get it close, good enough for government work, so I could start it up and show you. That's all. Okay, that's good enough for government work. It'll be a little bit more than that. All right, let's turn this off. Let's just see pressures. All I want to do is I would just want to see operation of the compressor. It's the only thing, because the subcooling condenser fan is not working, and the fan in the back without the lid down is not working. And I don't know that's what the Porsche and having to do the left hand thing with the, let's make sure We're out. We don't want no YouTube surprises with me jumping and having a car take off on me. There we go. We're all the way there, all the way up there. Now we should have something coming out of here. It's open. Open. Me. I'm not really feeling no instant cold. So let's see what's not happening back here. It's running. But it's not looking good. Oh yeah, it's definitely not looking good. What do we got here? 75, -12. We got a plugged expansion valve. We got working compressor. We got no temperature at the high side discharge. There's nothing moving. It's cold. It's as cold as the car. And you can see it's foggy outside. All this is the same temperature. High side discharge, suction line, nothing. Compressor got a funny little noise. Negative on the vacuum, only 71. Expansion valve. Okay, now he's going to be paying for something. It looks like he's going to go for all that work now. He's going to be forced to, because we're going to remove the compressor, dump the oil, do it properly this time. This time he's going to get the receiver dryer replaced, because when they did it, it's never been changed, so that's going to go. The expansion valve's going to come out, that's going to go. And then let's see if he wants to pop for the price of changing all the hoses. For the price of doing this whole job in the hoses, you could buy my car brand new. Not really, but it's expensive. Okay, that's it on the diagnosis of this one. That was simple and fast. We could diagnose it properly because we have 100% of the charge in there. And time to do a recovery.